Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back again to the Zexonamid YouTube Sports TV, the home of the trending sports news that are making headlines. Today, I will be talking about some of the highlights or some of the key moments or some of the inspiration highlights that made headlines. That is in the recently concluded Premier League game that was of West Ham against Brighton FC. I remember in the reverse fixture that was held, that is at the Amex Stadium, or that is the American Express Stadium, that is in Brighton. West Ham for the first time emerged victorious or getting a win for the first time, that is in the Premier League against Brighton FC. Remember in the previous seasons, Brighton had gotten more edge over West Ham, and only West Ham had just managed a draw amongst all the games they had played before. So yesterday, in one of the biggest encounters to showcase European competition, remember both teams are representing, that is England, that is in the UEFA Europa Cup, and all of them managed to top their groups, that is Brighton and even West Ham. West Ham earlier on, even are the defending champions, that is the third tier of European competition, that is the UEFA Conference League, that they managed to win way back against, that was Fiorentina. So this time, they progressed, that is in the Europa, to the second round, and even Brighton did also the same. Currently, West Ham are sitting, that is in 6th position, that is on 34 points, and even Brighton with the other draw that was against West Ham yesterday, with that 0-0 draw, managed to take them, that is to 31 points, and they are in 7th position just by goal difference away, that is to big team, that is Manchester United. I just want to talk about some of the highlights that were in this game. Remember, David Moyes had just gotten some good form, that is beating Manchester United 2-0, and even the same result implicating it, that is to team Arsenal, that was 2-0. So West Ham came into this game with so much confidence that they can overthrow, that is an opponent that crosses over their side. So coming into this game that was, it was a mixture of reactions, that is from a passing coach, that is Roberto Di Zerbi, representing, that is team Brighton, and even the tactical coach, that is David Moyes, who knows that if at all you are good at passing the ball, can resort to counter-attacking football, or can sit back and get you on the break. So statistically, if you check about that game, Brighton had majority of the possession, that was around 68 over 32. Brighton had the most shots on goal, that is almost like 8 against West Ham's 4. Brighton had the most shots off target, that was almost 9 against like West Ham's 3. Brighton had majority of, West Ham had majority of the corners. However, it was an intense game, reason being that all teams who are in mid-table tried to showcase what football is meant to be. This fixture is one of the better fixtures that was represented out way back, that is in the midweek, because either teams managed to make a goalless draw. It sounds 0-0, but when on the pitch, I think maybe either teams were just lucky, because all teams got that is opportunities to seal the game. However, that is West Ham goalkeeper, that is Alfonso Riol, was so good, that is on that day, and even the same replies, that is Brighton goalkeeper. Brighton had a good midfield with, that is veteran player, that is James Milner was good in the midfield, alongside younger compatriot, that is the midfield general, that is Billy Gilmer is holding the midfield. Up front, Brighton had the likes of João Pedro, he is also on match form. However, a big man, that is Mitoma, was sidelined because of having some knee injury. On the side of West Ham, I think they missed out, that is some big man, that is Mikel Antonio, the Jamaican superstar, and even other players also missed out. The likes of Paqueta were not around. The likes of the captain, that is Kurt Zuma, was not around. But the boys who stood in for the other sideline player also showcased maturity in this game. So football-wise, we had some good entertainment as to the Premier League. That's why we call it the best league in the whole world. The reason being that all teams can get a result against any opponent. You remember the win of Nottingham Forest against Manchester United after 30 years without a win since 1993. So that shows what the Premier League is all about. And we as football pundits or football analysts, we think it was such a good encounter where both teams, I think, going away with a goalless draw was a good result for either team. Reason being that it could have looked worse if one of the teams had gone with a win. Reason being that all teams were average, they had better opportunities. However, the goalkeepers and the defenses stood very firm, that is on that day. So we congratulate all teams upon that milestone. However, also Brighton this season has made history as the team with the most draws, that is in the Premier League. So far, it has gotten 7 draws, has lost only 6 games out of the 20 games that have been played, and has managed to win the rest. So that shows that this Brighton side is quite very hard to beat. So it can draw, but it can also beat you in case when you are not very firm or when you are not very prepared for this fixture. Subscribe, like, and comment. I'm with Zexon Amido, a sports encyclopedia.